This is a video that I'm putting together to help clarify and introduce the concept document assignment. So it's really important that you work from your premise, purpose, and theme for this assignment. It might be the very first time you've done it, and so you need to have completed the mystery box assignment before you begin this assignment. So if you haven't completed this, you need to go back and do this. Now, not only do you need to actually do it, you need to get feedback from me so that you know what your premise, purpose, and theme is, and then you'll know what you're working with. So, I find it's very important that you work from that creative identity. Down here in the rubric, I actually have it worth 50% of the points. Did you use uh, your own premise, theme, and purpose to create this concept for a game? And is it true to who you are as the creator? I'm really going to be looking at that. That's super, super important. Because if you're able to do this, then you're on your way to building a personal way of building and writing stories, and also knowing what formal story constructs you're going to need. Okay, so let's take a look at this a little bit closer. You'll have a working title for your game. It's not real important. At this point, it'll probably change like 9 times before you get your game built. Write down the premise for your game in 1 sentence. Now, this is a little bit different than your premise. So the premise that you'll be working with, there should be a relationship of the premise of the game with your creative identity premise. Okay? Um, and that serves to give a kind of a purpose of the game from your point of view. Okay. Now, the player motivation is the game from the player's point of view. Okay. What's the hook? Um, if it was a game about Indiana Jones, it would be find the ark, find the ark. It would be something really simple like that. The players need a motivation like that within the game. Um, So be thinking about what's a very simple thing that like a goal, or what's going to motivate that player to actually want to play the game. And I don't need like a psychological breakdown of the player or anything like that. It needs to be something very, very simple that's compelling the player to go through the game. I'd like you to take a stab at the core loop for your game. And so if you've never written one before, this is a nice article. It's really is very helpful. Read through it, skim through it. Um, it tells you what a core loop is. It should be extremely simple, again. And this is a really good article that really breaks it down. So take a moment to go look at that if you're not sure what a core loop is. The genre. So I have some lists here. You can go to Wikipedia or Board Game Geek. Um, and this is interesting. Board Game Geek is really interesting. You can actually search by genre. So I think they call it game category. So maybe you wanted to make I don't know, a city building board game. You want to see who else has done that out there. So look. So Seven Wonders and Puerto Rico are two award-winning board games that do that. So that's a really good resource. Platforms. For video games, you have all these different platforms you can choose from. There's many these days. And if you're going to make a board game, the platform is going to be the tabletop. Okay, ratings. Don't forget your ratings. So go ahead and take a look at all the different ratings that are available and try to appropriately place it. within this scale. So the things I'm really looking at is, are you really activating your premise, purpose, and theme as you discovered in the mystery box assignment? Is your player motivation very simple and easy for the player to understand? Remember something very simple like Indiana Jones, find the Ark. That's the whole thing. Um, and the core game loop needs to be very simple again. You should be able to draw a very simple diagram. And the core game loop is what the player does over and over and over again throughout the entire game. So the purpose of your game, basically, what do you want the player to remember after they've played the game? Do you want them to remember, some moral choice that was very important to the game, as in life is strange? Do you want them to remember the music? Maybe it's a game that's where it's about music. What sort of after image? Now, this is a narrative game class, so perhaps there is some sort of compelling story element that you really want them to remember. I hesitate to call it like a moral of the story because that's only one type of game. It could be something uh, well, I don't know. It could be anything you want it to be. But it needs to be something that you want the player to remember after they've played the game. Okay? What do you want them to talk about on social media? So it's really, really important that you are aware of what you want your purpose to be. And remember, it's the purpose from the player's point of view. Okay? So I hope this clarifies it. Um, I want you to use the template. If you don't use the template, I won't grade it. This is a Word document. You just download it and fill it out and take out all of my instructions here. You don't need to put all the instructions in. I know what the instructions are. I wrote them. So just put in your information instead of the instructions, and then you will upload it. So in the student view, there'll be a button up here. It's called Start Assignment. And you'll be able to click on that and upload a Word document. I will only accept Word documents. So if you use a different word editing program, maybe you opened it in Google Docs or something like that, save as a doc or a docx and upload that document instead. Okay, so it has to be in Microsoft Word so that I can make comments and things like that on it. Okay. It really shouldn't take longer than an hour to complete. If it's taking longer than that, then you're trying to be too perfect or something. Um, I'm going to be looking at the alignment of the mechanics that you describe in your core loop to your premise, purpose, and theme. And also know that this is just the first stab at a new game. Don't get married to it. It'll evolve as you work on your game. It'll evolve. It'll become something else. And then you'll go back and update this. And that might even happen during the course of this semester. So one thing I do want to make clear, if you're ever unhappy with a grade, you can always resubmit the assignment. And if I have time, I will regrade it and give you more feedback. And the reason why I'm saying this at this point is the concept document assignment is often an assignment that gets resubmitted because people just get their understanding of how to activate their premise, purpose, and theme in the design of a game. Sometimes they need a little bit more time to really get that concept. So it's not uncommon for people to resubmit the concept document after they've discovered more about what it is they want to do. And then I regrade it. And the higher grade is what counts. So, yeah, I hope this clarifies everything and have a great time with this assignment. It should be a lot of fun.